taken a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my real estate team member, Mary Baker, and I, along with the director of Boston Connect Real Estate, Melissa Wallace, provide you with our unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of some of our real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate and the preferred professionals that we trust. Be part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined in studio by the one, the only Tracy Grady.
Good morning, everybody out there.
What about in here?
Good morning, everybody in here, out there, everywhere.
On Facebook. We are live on Facebook, so if you're friends with Sharon McNamara, once she joins us in studio, I will be putting us all over the Connect pages. So if you're part of any of the Connect pages locally, you'll be able to find us. We're on Boston Connect or McNamara Broker Team, all that fun stuff. But welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I feel like I haven't been here in a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks. Yeah. I mean,
usually I'm running in trying to grab balloons, and then I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to my...
Yeah. We're like yelling down the stairs, who's down there? Come upstairs and promote your listing. Or Jim's like texting me being like, tell my wife we need to leave.
You're running late. Per usual.
We're running late, but thanks so much for joining us today. You're always such a, like, I could call you 5 minutes before the show and you'd be like, I'll start the show in my car and then I'll end it with you in studio.
Come running in. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Well, now she's just like one of our producers because she calls, sends a text midweek. I have a topic for the show.
Yeah. Great. Well, great. You're on Saturday.
Great. You're in. Do you want to know what it is? No, not really. We'll take whatever you got.
Sharon didn't even ask you what it was. In the text, you were just like, okay, she said, sounds good. See you Saturday.
See you Saturday.
So then yesterday or the day before, I was like, wait a minute. Like, but what's the topic? So
what's the topic?
I'm like, so what are we talking about?
What we're talking about. I think it's because Tracy and I ended up talking on the phone, so we knew what the topic was.
Oh, so I was just out of the dark.
You were, yeah. She was stressed about it yesterday, too. She goes, have you thought about tomorrow at all? And I was like, no, I'm in the middle of something else right now. Yep, nope. But I didn't even think of it until this very moment that you didn't know that Tracy and I had already talked about it.
Yeah. No, that's why I reached out to Tracy and said, you know what, I'm just going to take the bull by the horns and take care of it myself.
Speaking about the bull by the horns, the person who is in charge of us is Tim at the WATD studios. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
So happy.
The best part of waking up is talk real estate in your cup.
I love that.
We have talk real estate cups too.
We do. I'm going to have to bring you one. That's what my plan is going to be. I'm going to bring you one of those cups. So
we should have passed them out at the open house that time.
Oh, we could have.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we could have T-shirts too.
Yeah,
that would be a good
T-shirt
slogan.
Yeah.
We need a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Boy, we'll give Tim credit.
I love how she says we need T-shirts. You are the third. You're the third or fourth.
She is our third host. Yeah, she is our third host here.
Yep.
So to all our WATD listeners, if you have any questions today about real estate, that's our topic. That's what we know. That's what we breathe. That's again,
that's
like
what they live.
That's what we live. And feel free to call us with any of your questions, and Tim will pipe you right through to us. 781-837-4900 is how you can get through to Tim, and Tim will get through to us, and all is well in the universe.
Yeah. Our number one fan is already requesting a T-shirt and a cup.
I know we always have to get extras for the parents that are always, roaming around. So I do want to start our show today just with thoughts too and prayers for Florida, the Carolinas. I mean, I was watching the news, and you see some of it on the news, but I don't know if you have a smart TV, go onto YouTube.
We were just doing it this morning. Jim and I came downstairs. I thought it was the news.
Yeah.
And Jim was streaming YouTube, and we have friends, really close friends.
Yeah.
That are one street back from Fort Myers Beach.
So they didn't make it.
They're up here in Hummerock. thinking of you guys if you're listening.
Yeah.
They're up here. They're heading down on Monday, but they are not optimistic that they have much left.
Yeah.
So I have some family down there as well, and one of the family members Mark got in touch with, and he's in Naples, and a neighbor sent him a picture, water up to his doorknob.
Yeah,
And that's the front, like, so the back of the house was, he was sort of on one of those canals. And then the other family member who is down there, 4 miles from Sanibel,
Sanibel.
he has 8 inches of water throughout his entire house. And again, you don't think that 8 inches of water, like, you're like, oh, in comparison to what everybody else has, hey, listen, I am not minimizing that at all. At 8 inches of water in a house throughout an entire house is devastating.
Yeah. You got to remember, they're on slab down there. So it's not like the basement is filling up. We recently just had that house down the Cape that somebody came in and cut the copper pipe out.
Can you believe? I still
and
can't
left
believe that.
and
I
left.
can't even believe that.
I know it. And then left the water running in the house, which then in turn filled up the basement. But you have to think about Florida. They're on slabs. So
Yeah.
it's coming through your front door. I'm not saying that your basement filling with water isn't horrible, but at least it's protecting your first floor. There is no protection.
Well, just
down
think
there,
about
straight through the
how
door.
devastating water can be no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as something gets wet, if it's not treated right away, like, there's so many issues
I've
that
never
could
experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
either. I've never had water in my house either. And I was talking to my husband about it this morning, and I was like, it's really terrible that, 8 inches of water. They're going to have to cut, up to what did they do? Up to like 4 feet?
Yeah.
All the sheetrock, everything is going to have to come out,
Yep.
like all the
Total
carpets, all
loss.
that.
Yeah.
But in comparison to what other people lost, like, you're on the bottom of the list. And what I'm thinking about is he's 4 miles
Yeah.
inland
all-
from
yeah.
Sanibel. Think about the people that are in between there.
Yeah. It's
You know what I mean?
devastating.
So it is just going to be devastating. This is a real estate show. I am not making light of, like, oh, I'm going to bring it around to real estate because of this disaster, but it is going to take them a long time to recover. And it's going to be awful situation down there. So I have some friends too in that area that are, we just have to be careful about the scams, because come a disaster comes scam artists. And, just to make sure that we can get out there and help, in the right way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Switching gears just a little bit for a
Switch it all the way.
moment.
Switch it all the way.
Switch it all the way. Happy anniversary to Boston Connect Real Estate. Today is 12 years.
Yes, it is. How do you remember those things and I don't?
Listen, I have a memory bank
Of dates.
Yeah.
and
dates.
Passwords.
yeah,
Codes.
so we opened October 1st, 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you for remembering that.
Oh, you're
Again.
welcome.
I was literally fixing the calendar on our clock over there. I didn't even remember
Didn't
it.
even remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that
so
Happy
happy anniversary. Congratulations on
Happy
12 years.
anniversary to Boston Connect Real Estate. It has been wonderful, awesome opportunity. And honestly, we have a couple new agents that are going to be joining us. They committed, right? I'm not going to say their names yet, but they committed because the paperwork isn't signed. And Melissa and I were having an interviewing with them, and like, I feel like they're interviewing us, and we always turn that around for the agents. Like,
Yeah.
this is you interviewing where you feel as if you're going to feel at home. And it was interesting to listen to us talking just about the atmosphere and the agents that we have in our office right now, and how connected everybody is,
Yeah.
and how everybody cares about everybody.
Yep.
Everybody wants to see everybody else succeed. Everyone has a, what can I do to help type mentality.
Well, we gave a couple examples of even just things that have happened this year with some of our agents, and how we sort of stepped in and stepped up, really. And it just made me think, like, oh yeah, like, we really are a family. Like, sometimes it's, whether it's good or bad, we are sort of intertwined in everybody's.
I think when it's bad
lives.
too is when we make, like, when we realize, I mean,
When it's bad,
outside
it's
of real
good.
estate,
That's
I
when
think,
it's
yeah,
good.
outside of real estate, we're friends anyways.
Yep.
And, I bring up when Jim's mom passed, what was that, 2 years ago now?
No, last November.
Yeah,
Was that just a year?
We're coming up
that
on
was
a
just
year.
a year?
Yeah.
Wow. I remember being at the church and crying as if I had Thanksgiving dinner with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was just like so emotional.
It was emotional. But
Yeah.
she did have it well planned. I mean, it was like,
I said, can you please? I know
need
that
the
this is-
playbook. I need the
know that this
playbook.
is
Yeah.
awkward, but could I have that agenda? Because when I die, I want what Flo,
It
right?
was,
What Flo
yeah,
had.
it was,
I
yeah.
want everything. I want all the same songs. I want everything. It was just so
Yep,
beautiful.
yep.
So it's nice that we do have such a team. And when disasters happen in other places, it's nice to hear, neighbors helping neighbors and things going on down there. I know we do have a topic today, and we will get into that. But you mentioned something about a scam about one of your listings.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about scams, if we could, for maybe the first 10 minutes today. Be careful out there.
I didn't know. Jim was just telling me
The newsletter?
about was it the newsletter?
Yeah.
Money
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
Okay,
But why
yeah.
don't you tell your story, what happened, and some of the precautions we can give people if you do have a vacant property.
Yeah, so when our property was vacant, it was on the Cape, and it was really set back off the road, and it was covered by a very large size, like shrubbery and bushes.
Mm-hmm.
So the house, not thinking back on it now, the for sale signs out front.
Yep.
The house is unoccupied. The
Pictures online
couple
vacant.
lived-
Show pictures vacant.
vacant. Yep, pictures online show vacant. And so we had the house under agreement. We were a couple of days away from signing purchase and sale agreement. Jim and I were traveling actually to a wedding down in Florida. I got a phone call from the homeowner that says, a friend just went to the house and there's 4 feet of water in the basement. All the copper pipe has been cut out. Well, they didn't get all the copper pipe because they cut the main water line before they got to the rest of the pipe. So they bolted and left the water running in the house.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, you're going to do that. You're going to sell the copper. First of all, I want to know, where do you go?
Where do you go to sell that? I guess there's places that you can go.
I mean, if you're a plumber, you could get away with it. I know Tracy White has Casoli.
Yep, he does,
Yep.
yep.
So when Mark has, I wonder, sometimes he listens, in the morning. If he is listening, Tracy, can you give us a call? Because I'm wondering if there are any regulations that you have to be watching when people are stealing Cadillac converters. Like someone just
Yeah.
shows up, hey, I have a Cadillac converter. Oh,
Yeah.
so you have an
I
automatic.
have a recall on mine. I'm getting a new one.
Oh.
Don't say it out loud. People are going to be in our backyard, like trying to cut yours out.
You're already getting a new one, so they're going to cut yours out now.
Oh crap!
Well, she's getting a new one. I'll just take her old one.
We'll cut that. Pretend you didn't hear it.
Trader
Erase.
Joe's, a week ago, their Cadillac converter was, and I know I don't say it right, whatever. it is,
Cadillac
but-
converter?
I don't even
Is
know
it a Cadillac?
what it does.
I
What
don't-
is it?
No,
I think you need it for your car to run. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But, okay, so
I'm going to digress here for a minute because I have to tell this story because it's super funny.
Okay.
Back when, and it's terrible, when Princess Diana died, it was
yeah.
horrible. Women would be like, oh, her poor
The
children.
catalytic converter takes the wasted exhaust gas and I think it recycles it again to make it clean
Tim.
before it leaves the
we'd
exhaust.
love you,
See, Tim? Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. He gets, all right, we're sending him a Dunkin' Donuts card.
Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm
Okay.
a little bit of a gearhead.
Okay, that I feel better then. He didn't just Google it and figure it out. He actually knew what he's
They
talking
didn't
about.
always have catalytic converters. This is a more recent addition to the vehicle.
And you need that to get the sticker on your car, right? Oh, I
Yes,
have to
you
get
do.
I have to get a sticker on my car.
Yep.
We are literally all over
We
the
are
place today.
nowhere having a
Because I just want to
conversation
say,
about-
I went to Tiny and Sons. If you need a new windshield, you go to
His
Tiny
boys
and
do a
Sons.
good job.
They do.
His
a great
boys
job.
do a
Yes.
good job, and his staff. I want to give a shout out to Deanna Hatch, who honestly, she works her little tail off, that girl. And I got a ding in my windshield in April. I was on the highway and got a ding on my windshield. I just got it. It was back ordered that long. And she was yelling and screaming at everybody. So
It pays to stay way back.
I sort of was. I was in the slow lane, actually. I was driving myself to the hospital to get an MRI. Well, I had a kidney infection. Remember that
Yep.
time?
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways,
Unbelievable.
I digress all
So-
over the place.
so,
talk about your
I
story.
can tell
then.
my story. This is just a cute little story. So when Princess Diana died, the women would be like, "Oh my God, her poor children. How will they ever live without her?" And then guys in the room would be like, "Did you see that car? That car was a mess." I'm talking polar opposite. The women were all worried about
Yeah.
the kids. The guy was like, "Did you see that car? That car was a hot mess." I'm
car
like,
was a hot mess.
Polar opposites. That's what
Do you think the
get, men
Queen
and women.
did that?
I
No, there's rumor about that.
There's some conspiracy theories
Yeah,
out
there are
there.
some conspiracy theories
Yep.
about that.
Yeah.
Melissa would be able to know. She works for the FBI. We found out last week.
Yeah, I admitted to working for the FBI last week. So
That's right. I always send you all my pictures. I always send you my Washington D.C.
Oh yeah,
pictures.
I know. I've already seen them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a camera on you all the time. I have a live cam.
Yeah, I'm there
Oh my
currently.
God.
Right into the Oval
I'm
Office.
a hologram right now.
I'm actually in DC.
Oh my gosh, we are having way too much fun tonight.
Oh,
Again,
this is
you
what
are
happens.
listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. I am Sharon McNamara, the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, who is the sponsor of this radio show. We do.
that we
I don't know if you want to admit it today.
If you want to call it that, this is what we are here for today. And I know I can just tell that Tim either has a very big smile on his face or he's grimacing. Like, ladies, get on with it. If we were in the studio, I could see him like moving his finger, like move
You're
it on.
not talking
move it on.
about real estate. Okay.
Yeah. But if you have any questions about real estate and you want to get us off topic about our personal lives, 781-837-4900. You can also find us on Facebook. We are on Facebook Live, so you can go there and see us. And we're all over the place. So Sharon Costa McNamara.
We
is my
are all over
page.
the place.
I know.
But we're on the scam thing. So
Yeah,
we are,
Pembroke Connect. Yeah. So with the scam, so tell me, so a neighbor just happened to go in the house?
She had a girlfriend that was stopping by the house to pick up some of the things that they had left
Could
on
you
a lot.
imagine being
and she
that
went into
girlfriend?
the basement and she was like, and the water's still running at this
Yeah.
point. So she had to call
And
the
shut
water.
the electricity off,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Electricity gone, plumbing gone, everything was gone.
And it was under agreement, right?
Under agreement.
Is the buyer now gone?
Nope. Buyer stuck
Stuck
with
around
us. It was going to be a
months.
flip. It was going to be a flip anyway.
Yeah.
So, and they had experienced this being flippers. I think they probably have more exposure to it because they're often buying houses that are,
Vacant
unoccupied and
and- yeah.
vacant. So this probably happens
A lot.
more times than not. And my sister lives directly around the corner from this house. I mean, less than a half a mile away. And I said to her, you need to get an alarm system on your house. I said, because when you travel, I said, people could know you're traveling, and that could happen to you as easily as it happened to them.
Well, social media, we tell everybody where we are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
so that brings me back to when, we were doing open houses over at Copperwood in Bristol. Like, we were literally, and we tell everybody where we're going to be at all times. And especially with new construction, if nobody is living in the development just yet,
Yeah.
it can be dangerous. So, when we first started doing open houses there, we would do 2 people, 3 people at a time.
Yep.
And I
know?
reached out to some of the abutters and just said to them, I know that this is awkward, but I am going to be back there by myself. Is there any chance that I could get your phone number in case of an emergency? And everybody was like, I never thought of that. Of course you can have my phone number.
Yeah. And I just think of the time where I was doing an open house, new construction, and it was sort of towards the end of the open house. I had seen this car coming by a couple times every time there was a guest there. And then finally, when I didn't have a guest in the house, a gentleman came in and he locked the door behind him. And I was like, okay, that's not normal.
Moving directly to the back door.
This isn't your home yet. I'm trying to keep it light in my head, but be aware. So as I'm walking, I just unlock the door and, just keep the distance between us.
Tiptoe out.
Yeah, tiptoe out. And all of a sudden he didn't want to see any other floor than the first floor.
Yeah,
and
take-
I did
take
take a
anything you
picture.
want.
I took a picture of his car and sent it to the office and said, watch out for this one. But yeah.
So where do you stand now? Now, is it a cash deal or
It is. It's a
so
cash
there's the
deal.
good
So
news.
that
I
was
mean,
the
are they
good
going to
news.
make him replace the copper and stuff to get it back working?
We've worked it out because she filed a claim with her insurance
Okay,
company.
yeah.
So we just deducted that amount off the
Yeah.
price of the house. So
Yeah.
she will get the money from the insurance company and
Yeah.
he will get the reduced price on the
Okay,
house.
perfect.
Worked out great. And
Yeah.
great buyers, great agents. Everybody was great.
Yeah.
In this. Everybody.
Because that could be a disaster,
It
literally.
yeah, we would have been back on the. I would just. They stuck with
Back
us.
to the
and
market.
Cannot thank you. Back
No
on the market
electricity,
with
no
the-
pipes.
Yeah, okay, so I have no electricity, no pipes, no. And the homeowner is down in Puerto Rico. She lives down in Puerto Rico. So that poor thing just got hit by Fiona.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get the pipe thing straightened. We're trying to get the insurance straightened out. I really didn't even want to call her anymore because I thought her stress level was just going to be
Yeah.
above and beyond. But we did get through it, and everybody
I
stepped
just
by.
could not imagine being
Good
that
outcome.
person walking in the house and being like, there's something,
it's like-
something's not right
And,
here.
and sometimes when water settles, because I've seen that happen before, it's like, it looks funny, but it's clear. And it's
Yeah.
almost like you're stepping on a mirror
Yeah.
because it's so calm and settled that you
Yeah.
don't think you're looking at what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And you touch it and you're like, that's water.
And you're not supposed to see that much water in a basement, so
Yes.
you're like, "Am I dreaming this?
Yes, I'm dreaming
Yeah.
this because it
What
was
is
a lot of
happening
water.
here?"
Well, that
was a
was the one that I had. Remember, I posted a picture of Mark, and Mark just
Yeah.
happened to be down the Cape with me. And that's the other thing. And I'd like to do that show on Tuesday when we were going to talk about it last week about, how to protect yourself. When you
Yeah.
think about these storms and are you prepared? I see everybody's stuff all over the place when I'm watching TV and YouTube, and I'm like, wow, do they even know what they had? Like if my house blew away today, I wouldn't know what I had until I was looking for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
until I was missing it.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a good show that we do. But same thing with him, that, you know what, they had a really bad storm down the Cape and the electricity kept on going on and off, on and off. It was one of those bad snowstorms. It blew the sump pump and the electricity was out. And lo and behold,
Battery backup, baby, on those sump
Yeah.
pumps. You're in New England. It's a part of New England. Sump pumps in basements are a part of New England. Like, I worry about when we bring buyers in, they're like, oh, there's a sump pump. I'm like,
You should be thankful.
It's hard to find a house that doesn't have a sump pump in New England. And yes, you should be thankful.
Yeah.
But do something smart for yourself. Put it on a battery backup. So
Wow.
when you lose power.
yes. So I hope Mr. Mark McNamara is listening, because we've been talking about that for here. But I want to get a generator for here. So that was one of the scams. And then I do want to make mention of a scam that happened in our office. It was interesting because Melissa and I just actually found out about it this week. And so one of our agents, they had a client for a property in Duxbury.
Yes, they were the buyer's agent.
They were the buyer's agent. And when they were at the home inspection, they said to the listing agent, just happened to be the broker owner of the company. Okay. And they said to her, oh, where can we wire this? Like, can you give me wiring instructions for the second deposit? And she's like, under no circumstances do I accept wires or do I give wires. She goes, I just don't do it. There's just too many scams. So verbally, she said that out loud. During the process, what ended up happening, there were email chains going back, of course, between everybody, right? And somebody penetrated into that email thread. Okay. I have a feeling that I know that it went through a Yahoo, because it happened to me and Mary about 5 years ago, and it was traced back to a Yahoo account. Okay. That person then pretends to be the person involved and just changes the email.
Takes on the persona. Yep.
And changes it. So instead of like Sharon at BostonConnect.com, it might be like Sharon.BostonConnect at MSN or at
Yeah, it's
Yahoo,
just
or
a minor
Google.
change.
Yeah.
It's a minor change.
Something you
to
wouldn't
the-
notice.
Right.
And when you're in an email thread,
I don't think, and that's another thing, I don't think a lot of people know that when you're in a real estate transaction, you're dealing with two attorneys.
Yep.
Each attorney has an assistant.
Yep.
You have a loan officer. You have the agent. You have the admin in the like when you start getting down to brass tacks, you've got a lot of people on one
lot.
email, and you don't think about it. You just think, well, I'm just working with a realtor. You're not. You're working with a whole staff
everybody.
of people. Yeah.
And too, I mean, I'll take full credit for this one that I don't do this. If I'm in the middle of a thread with somebody, I'm not going back in and looking to make sure that everybody's email is correct. I'm just
Because
assuming
I'm already in the thread.
I'm already in the thread.
So you're either getting my stuff or you're not.
Yeah.
I
And so
would
when
know by now.
when I get an email and I think that I can see everybody on that thread,
Yep.
I'm not
I'm thinking I'm safe. I'm safe.
100%.
I put these people in.
Yes.
So
Somebody penetrated into this email thread and sent the buyer an email saying, here are the wire instructions for your second purchase and sales agreement. Because again, they're following along, so they know exactly where you are in the process. And over goes $44,000.
And as soon as you hit send, it's gone.
It's gone.
There's no coming back.
It's never coming back. And the buyer was an attorney.
Oh.
And he is so upset with himself right now. He's like, I cannot believe I fell for that. And especially since he's like, she said right to me, I don't accept wires. I don't do it. Yeah. He goes, I just assumed that she changed her
She
mind.
just changed her mind.
Yeah. Well, if
That's
anybody is
awful.
out there and
The
they are
FBI
going
is
to be
involved.
purchasing a home from Boston Connect Real Estate,
Yeah.
we do not accept wire transfers. We will never accept wire transfers. So no one here is going to ask you for information.
I mean, we just did some research too on Deposit Link, which is it's like Venmo. It's actually ran by the same company as Venmo. It's because Venmo isn't really the one doing all the transfer. It's another company, Trail.
It's like a middle
middle person. It's Trail or something like that. So this Deposit Link, I thought, oh, this is a great idea. This would help with the agents, you know what I mean? So we could have the money. Well, first of all, I would never give out my escrow account. I would put it into one account and then transfer it into our escrow. Yeah. But now I feel a little anxious about that.
Yeah.
And the money is gone. And here's...
There's no getting back. It's gone.
And I don't know how many people out there can lose $44,000. So if you're buying a house and you're in the process and that's your second deposit, not many people are going to have another $44,000 hanging
Exactly.
around.
Yeah.
So they were able to have, some family and things like that were able to help them out in the interim, but it's just scary. So
That's frightening.
on the bottom of all our emails, I sent it to all of our agents yesterday in the newsletter, like, please put this disclosure on there. So be careful.
And like you said, the FBI is involved.
Not you. They haven't called you in yet.
I haven't. Yeah, they haven't called
Not
me
Agent
in.
Melissa, but special agent.
Or is that my
Agent
real,
Mel's
is that my real name?
Now I'm
Agent
starting
Mel's
to
Bell.
doubt. Now I'm starting to doubt. That's your real secret identity.
Well, that brought us right to 10:30. So why don't we take a little bit of a break right now, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the topic that Tracy wanted to discuss, and it's going to be full of laughs, and it's going to make you go, So get your notepad, get your pens and pencils, and be ready to take some great notes, and we will be right back. Let's face it, we all get to the point in our lives when our current home no longer suits our everyday needs. With ever-changing living dynamics, addressing your future is all about right-sizing.
We're really
finding
good at
the
it.
right size
We
home
are
for you
professionals
right
at
now.
this.
Are you ready to pay your own mortgage rather than somebody else's? Are you looking forward to living under your own roof? Do you often dream about buying your first home, but you're not sure where to begin? Let us help you find the right size for you right now. I'm Sharon McNamara, the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team, or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000.
What? What are you talking about?
Like Mel?
We now return to Talk Real Estate,
manager.
sponsored by Boston Connect.
That gives you all sorts of confidence. Would you do like clear staring at each other like, what?
And we are back. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace. I'm joined with Sharon McNamara, broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, and the one and only Tracy Grady. Hello.
Hello.
You do have a topic that you want to talk about.
I don't
I'm
know
going
what
to
it
sit
is
back. I'm not even talking.
I don't even remember what my topic is now.
You do have a topic, but if you want to join in on the discussion, you can give Tim a call at the studio, 781-837-4900, and you can join in on the discussion we're about to have, or the one that we just had, or we can just not talk at all. We can just sit in silence because we've talked enough.
Or whatever
comes up.
Exactly. From this.
Okay,
so
you
let's talk.
finally came. You had a conversation with Sharon, and then I asked you what we're talking about. So, what are we talking about for the rest of our show?
We are talking about starter home versus forever home.
Okay.
So I feel like the market. Well, now that the market has shifted a little bit, we're not in that crazy buyer frenzy that was going on when we were in the Las Vegas days of 2% and 3%. That buyers can now be a little bit more picky. They don't have to rush in and just try to get their numbers on the table and not do a home inspection and not. So I just feel like we have a little unrealistic expectations for first-time buyers or young buyers, that your first house you go into is probably not going to be your forever home.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm coming with that. Like, you walk into these houses, and a lot of them, they're lovely, but they need a few things done to them. So and now that, I think we have to back up a little here. Price ranges for buyers was higher when the interest rates were lower. So that's a drastic change. So now you have to go back to your pre-approval letter and get pre-approved for what you can actually afford, and not a lot of first-time buyers want a $3,000 a month mortgage payment.
Right.
But they liked looking at the $600,000 homes and the $700,000 homes when they were getting it for 2 or 3%. But now we kind of have to go back to the days of, like, when Jim and I bought our first house on Whiting Street in Hanover. We got it for $150,000. That was, 25 years ago. That was probably 30. Jesus, I'm old. So like 30 years ago, but we put so much sweat equity into that house. We took down the old yellow and white plaid wallpaper. We had yellow countertops. We had vinyl
So you
floors.
didn't buy it new construction?
We did not buy it.
I see. I always thought that you did.
Yeah, doesn't it seem? No,
I always thought that you built
not
that.
our current house.
Oh,
her first house.
This is
I was like, I thought you bought that.
construction. No. Yes, second house.
Okay.
But we were in that first house for 10 years, and we put a lot into that house. Jim took down walls. He's a handyman, my Jim. Yeah, he's doing our bathroom
My
right
Jim.
now. My Jim, so proud. But we put a lot of sweat equity into that house, and it did pay off 10 years later, and we made a sizable amount of money. And then we were able to purchase our home that we live in now.
Yeah.
So, and I just don't see that in the buyers of today. They just don't have that vision that's like, you go into a house and you're like, oh, I can't live here. It's like, well, you could. It's a nice house.
Well, you could.
You could. I said, but it's going to, you have to have a little vision, which I always think Jim and I are pretty good with, especially Jim. He's got that vision that sometimes I go in and I'm like, ew, no, you can't. And he's like, no, don't be crazy. If you took this down, you added wallpaper, you did whatever. So I just think there are homes out there that we need to go back into our listings on active listings that have been sitting for a while and go back and say, yeah, the bones of that house are really good. And you're going to get a great deal on it right now. You're going to pay less money. You're not going to have a crazy mortgage payment, but you are going to have to put a little sweat equity into it. This is not your forever home.
And I wonder too if things have changed. And first of all, when you were talking about Jim, you honestly could have changed the name Jim to Mark.
Absolutely.
Mark, very similar. That's probably why the two of them get along so well.
Exactly.
And it's,
you give them a task, and it's like, oh, I can do that.
I can do that. I remember when the kids were little. I mean, we are not the norm, but we're in the same house that we've had for 30 years.
Yep.
And we bought it in 1992 for $137,000. I couldn't afford to buy my house right now.
It's right.
You know what I mean?
We couldn't afford to buy our house right now, and we got a hell of a even on our new construction Colonial in Hanover. We got it for $399.
Yep.
In 1999, and it didn't appraise. We were putting money down on it, thank God, but honestly it came back and it didn't appraise for $399. And a neighbor across the street just sold his house for like $985.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to buy my house right now. I couldn't.
I say. Well, and then, so when you were talking about being handy and being able to do things, let's just talk about demographics. One of the things that I am just totally fascinated with and I just love, and I want to take a bigger course, I've taken little classes on it, is sort of like generational marketing, right? And figuring out like the different generations and what their mentality is. And if you think about it, the millennial generation, who's gotten a bad rap, they're quite bright, by the way.
Yes.
Right? I mean, they can Google the poop out of anything, right? So, and other than that, they do know the answers on their own, some of them, right? But think about it. When we were younger, not everybody went to college.
Yes.
It wasn't that, okay, you just finished 4 years of high school, now you go to college, whether you want to or you don't want to. No one's getting into the trades. Very few people are getting into the trades. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. Because think about Mark, I don't know, did Jim go to college?
Jim went to college. Got his associate's degree, but he was in the printing business with his dad.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to. I did go to college for a year, but I was asked not to return at the end of the year because I refused to go to my classes. And I don't know why they held that against me because I was very popular in the fraternity sorority world, but I was not asked to come back. And Bridgewater State was like, "We think you need to
be there." I would have loved.
Oh my God! So I ended up going to work for the phone company because my mother worked for the phone company. So that was back in those days. It was like, if your mother worked for the phone company, you can go to work. And
sort
it was
of
like an education in itself.
Yeah, when you worked in the when you lived in the city, it's like my father worked for the MBTA. I'm going to work for the MBTA, right? For me, I grew up. My parents owned a convenience store in Dorchester Ave. I grew up in the convenience store, right? So I wonder if that is the reason why the generation that we see buying houses right now can't go in and even think about doing any of these things.
Yeah.
And then there's like the opposite of that, where you have these people who they're like, oh, I can go in here, I could do that, but I'm not going to pay that price for it. I'm going to pay $200,000 less. Like that sort of talk it up, like, and that they wouldn't know what end to put the pencil sharpener in,
exactly.
right?
Like they're just throwing out these numbers here, like, well, that's all going to have to come out. So I want to take, $100,000 off the top price. No, that's not how it works.
One of the things I just did on Brew Crew is watching. Hi, Brew Crew. I miss you, and I think we need that Italy trip. So we sat with them at Casey's wedding in Greece. Yes. So cousins of Dustin's family. But I just did put a poll out there, a question, and just said, how many of you who have homes, was your first home your forever home? Oh. So I think that's a great question. If you call in just to have a little chit chat with us, we would love that opportunity with you this morning. We promise that we will send you a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts. I think we have a bunch of those. Yeah. So Tim will get your address and everything. But call in because we're curious. How many of you it was your first home?
You're
you're
forever.
forever home.
And I would like to know if you went into that first home with the intention of, oh no, I won't stay here for a while, or I won't, maybe 5 years, 10 years, and you've been there for 30, like you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when we moved in, I mean, it was, a small, really a 2-bedroom cape. One of the rooms was on the first floor. That was our den. But like Jim, right? Like he's home doing renovations right now.
Yes, he is.
I remember sitting in this little room and like with the 2 girls, and I said to Mark, we should really take that wall down because it would like sort of open it up and we wouldn't feel so closed in because there was a big closet in this room. I woke up the next morning, the damn wall was down.
Same thing happened. Same thing on Whiting Street. I said to Jim, this closet. You have to understand, my parents were not home. My father kept his tools in a cigar box and considered that a Phillips head screwdriver was called a French screwdriver. So my entire life I called it a French screwdriver. And then Jim says to me, what the hell's a French screwdriver? I'm like, that one there. He's like, that is a Phillips head screwdriver. So that's how much. So when I came home from work and the wall was down, I'm like,
What happened?
There was a heating strip. He's like, you don't think the heating strip was going to stop me from taking the wall down, did you? I'm like,
same thing.
Yep, kind of did. So it was completely gone. I'm like, okay, I'm in a whole different world here
Yeah.
with somebody that has vision like that, that can just say,
How great
yeah,
is
we can do
that?
it. It's
And
amazing.
we're not suggesting that you do that on
No.
your own if you're
No.
not
No.
handy. I mean, this is the point of our story is
Yeah.
we're just not sure, people just not handy. The other thing too with the generation,
YouTube, though, you can find anything on YouTube.
you can literally YouTube anything. I said that just the other day. I had to figure something out and I was like, I love YouTube.
Yep.
But I was just about to say something. Oh, the people the millennials wanting everything the way that they want it to be. Oh, I know. This demographic also I find very interesting is that, and it's a good thing, really, the quality of life that they want. So I remember when we built our house, first of all, for those of you who don't know my story, Mark and I gave a builder $13,000. It was everything we had. And by we, I mean Mark. Okay. I went to Catherine Gibbs. We got engaged in April on my birthday and we were getting married in August. We didn't want to live with each other before we got married. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but 30 years ago, that was my choice. We were both home with our parents. The builder left. We had nothing. We sold suits to consignment shops. I went online and I went into like a sub shop and I was like typing up people's menus, like anything I could do to make an extra buck.
There you go.
The quality of life right now is like, that's all they think about. Like this weekend, I'm going to, the Hamptons, and next weekend I'm going to,
Oh, in a second job, they kind of look at you like,
yeah. Why would I do
why
that?
would I have 2 jobs?
Why would I have 2 jobs?
And I'm
I
like,
just find this so funny
'cause
because
you're
I'm
a
a millennial,
millennial.
I
and
know,
I'm
and-
the
and
exact
I
opposite of what you guys are saying.
she is completely.
So I'm just
she
keeping
defeats
quiet
the whole
until now.
purpose.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
really proud of you that you kept quiet because I'm like, you are a millennial,
Yeah,
aren't you? You
but
are
give
a
us the
millennial.
perspective, your
Yeah.
perspective on this. I mean, do you see this? I mean, what's under the millennials is the Gen Z.
Yeah, I think younger than me.
Young.
So I'm 31, and I think millennials go up to like maybe you could be 40 now or something. I don't know.
I bet you
Whatever.
Tim could Google that
Yeah,
for
Google.
us.
Tim, let me know the age range.
Give her a
But I am a millennial, and
I'm a baby boomer, so there
I
you
think
go.
with like I'm just thinking of the people that I know. I can't speak about people that I don't know or whatever, but I would say that everybody, all of my friends in the same age range as me, we all have sort of different lifestyles. Some have children. I don't have children. I'm single, and if I was to purchase a home right now, it would have to suit my lifestyle right now. So I work every day, never really home anyways. I like to live a single life. And,
I want to go out for dinner with my friends when I want to go out to dinner. I want to go to a concert when I want to go to a concert.
yeah, I live my life. I try to live my life within my means.
I want to
and-
roam around Target for 2 hours if I want to.
Amen.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have to buy anything, but Target makes me happy. They put something in the air, and that's fine. But I feel like I'm a very responsible person. But I go into a house and I think, okay, well that could be fixed over time. Okay, well that could be fixed. Like I don't go into a house and be like, oh my gosh, I would never buy this because it has corian or it has
Or
like
because it's not new construction.
yeah, no,
Like, it's because it's not.
I
New
love
construction's gonna
character,
win, and new
but that's
construction's
me.
gonna win.
I
Yeah.
love character, and I love the possibilities of making something your own and unique. I'm not very cookie cutter. I'm not cookie cutter in my life anyways. So
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, here's a box, now you live in it.
Yeah.
And
That's just
everybody's
not mine.
life ups, being brought up, everybody's life is different too,
Yeah.
right? And I would say that you're an old soul. I mean, Mary is another good example
Yeah.
who's a millennial and works very hard and is, you know what I mean? She's out there today. She started a home inspection at 8 o'clock this morning. Now she's on her way to an open house. So there is definitely, I hate to put any category of any
box,
person
yeah.
in a little category demographic of itself. So we're just talking about what we've been seeing with the people who are buying houses right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys would know, better than I would. You guys are with a lot of more buyers than me. But again, I can only speak for personal.
Yeah,
from
from
personal
personal
experience. But yeah, I just sometimes we get a bad rap. We're not all that bad.
No, you're not.
No,
No.
quite smart actually.
But yeah, I think it definitely depends on sort of your lifestyle, what you're used to, how you grew up, your values, and sort of like what it is that you're looking for.
I feel there are a lot of millennials out there that are not so much going to college and have starting their own businesses and their own ideas.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, I think, is huge right now in that division. If you decide not to go to school or go to college, I've seen some of these young kids start their own companies, whether they be excavating, landscaping, pool services.
Evan Smith.
He's like my hero.
He really is.
I've known him since he was 9 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
That man.
I remember-
He's not a boy, and I want to call him a boy, but he's not. That Evan Smith, he is a hard worker.
And I bumped into his grandmother, Marianne, last night at the football game. I went to Pembroke football game, and his aunt, Danielle. And yeah, I mean, what a great family. And he is doing wonderful. So if you do need landscaping work,
Landscaping, excavating,
Yeah.
he does it all. Evan Smith, excavating and landscaping. Actually, somebody called me the other day. He had given her my number for a recommendation. And I said to the woman, I'm like, well, I've known him since he was 9 years old. He's been doing our yard probably since he was 15, and I wouldn't recommend anybody else. He's just that good. She's like, but he's so young. I said, he's going to look like that when he's 50. So don't,
he's a go-getter.
Yeah, he's a go-getter. He's somebody that knew what he wanted to do and went out and did it. Came up with an idea and made a business out of it, which I do think we see a lot of these days, too.
Yeah.
You know, tech people that are in the tech industry, came up with an idea, came up with an app, came up with something, and they make it into something.
Yeah.
Which is,
Getting back into sort of, are you looking for your forever home or whatever? Just from my perspective, if I was looking for a home right now, I don't know where my life would be in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I would look for my forever home. I think it would be like my for right now home.
Yep.
This is what suits my needs right now. This is what suits my lifestyle right now. I can't predict what I'm going to be. I could be married with 10 kids in 5 years.
but you want to know that you're making
I
a
don't
good
know.
investment, too.
Yeah.
And putting a little sweat equity, TLC,
Yes.
into something, 5 years down the line, if you have a major change in your life, I made a good purchase 5 years
Yeah.
ago because I could see past what was in front of me.
Yeah.
And I made it into something that is now something I can sell and make money on.
Well, that's exactly my point because I don't even know if it was the last show or a couple shows ago, we were talking about when you buy something that's, brand new or doesn't need anything, it has every bell and whistle, what other improvements can you make on that?
Right.
You would be relying solely on where the market is at that time that you want to sell.
Yep.
Because if you don't make any changes, it's like almost the first thing that we go and do and say like, okay, so the buyers have been there for 5 years. Have they done any improvements on the house?
Exactly.
So they go back in the old listing and you say, no, literally the paint, they didn't even paint.
The kitchen's exactly the same as it
Everything's
was.
exactly the same,
Right.
but they want $100,000 more.
Yeah.
Well, why?
Why? You didn't put anything into it. You haven't done anything to make it better than what it was.
Yeah.
That is usually the first thing I say to people. Carpet in the bedrooms? Fine, put new carpet in the bedrooms. But if you want to make some money down the line, might be time to put hardwood floors in.
Yeah.
Something that's going to appeal to the next buyer.
Yeah.
Because this isn't going to be your forever home.
And something like carpets, it's like that's not something that you have to do unless they're totally destroyed and they need to be replaced when you move in. That's fine. But
And then
I have a different thought on that.
she
Sorry.
hates other people's carpets.
I don't like. I just, you know what? It's just walking on other people's funk doesn't do it for me.
But what if what if somebody replaces their carpets and then they call you and they say, okay, well, I'm thinking about putting my house on the market. Say it's 6 months has gone by. Is that a waste of money that they changed those carpets?
Oh,
In
yeah.
your opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
lived
It's
on it for
definitely,
6 months.
it's definitely a waste of money. I'm just saying that
6
I
months
couldn't.
of funk. She can't deal with the 6
6
months.
months
I can
of
see
funk.
10 years of funk, but
Yeah.
6
Well,
months
that's
of
what
funk
when I
on
think
a
of rug
carpet?
wall-to-wall carpeting. Anyways, I think
Yeah.
of like all wrinkled, stained, like.
Which is what I usually say to people: don't replace your carpet.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, somebody's not
Somebody's
going to
gonna
believe
come
that
in.
your
Yeah.
cat, dog didn't pee or something on it, and it's just going to
And also, they're
Some
gonna
allergies.
ask. Someone's gonna ask what's underneath those carpets.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
and with the older homes, a lot of the times it's a hardwood, it's pine, it's something beautiful that maybe they covered in the 70s or the 80s or 90s, whatever.
I feel like those are few and far between these days, though, because I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
can they still popping up the hardwoods under the carpet? I always feel like every time I pull that carpet back, I'm like plywood.
Yeah,
It's plywood.
but I think
It's
that
not-
I think that is more like when the house was built.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I really feel like a lot of the homes, maybe like in the 70s or 80s, did have the nicer floors underneath, or even older homes. Like, look at our kitchen floors in here.
Beautiful.
I mean, 1925, beautiful floor covered in 4 or 5 layers of linoleum.
But it's not for everybody, that look. I wanted to preserve the being of this house, and
Yeah.
that's 1925. But again, Mark came in, and
Oh.
we passed papers in 23 days with a new septic system on it. We closed in Bank of Easton, and we were back here by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and Mark already had like a sledgehammer out.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we're knocking down
There
that
was
wall.
just stuff coming down.
Mary
Yep.
and I had ordered stuff from It's a Party, like balloons and like welcome home things
Yeah.
and everything. We were so stressed because we knew the moment that they were on
Signed on the
record that they
bottom
were
line.
coming here, but we needed to know that we were on record before we entered the property.
Yeah.
Because we had the lockbox, so we're like literally waiting outside with balloons. Like, are we on record yet? Can we go in? Can we go in? Finally, we get the note that we're in, and then we just pop in the stuff.
Yeah, it
and
was
then they
awesome.
find
You
it.
guys were awesome to do that. I'm thinking about now, do you think it's more of a struggle for people? Let's just say that there are some, buyers out there, young, old, whatever, and they want that opportunity to buy a home and fix it up and live in it for the equity. Are there many opportunities for that, one? And two, are they getting beat out by the developer, the flipper, who can just go in there and pay cash, like your guy down in the Cape,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So are there even those opportunities available unless you're hearing about it word of mouth?
Yeah, I'd say they're. I mean, even the flippers are having a hard time
Yeah.
finding houses that it's worth it. I mean, because these houses are still on the market for like 450, 500. That's not really into flippers.
No.
They want to be down in the lower high twos, like low threes, because there's just not a lot of profit to be made there. So it's tough to try to find those houses. But I have shown a few to buyers that recently, young buyers, and we've gone in and I'm like, what? I don't understand why you don't like this house. Well, it doesn't give me the same feeling that this other house that we really loved did. I'm like, well, A, probably should have bought it.
Yeah.
And B,
Should have listened.
and B, this is a beautiful house. It needs your touch put to it, but it's a good price.
Now, I remember one time with one of my clients years ago, actually, it was Alyssa McNamara, who does the show before us. And I've told the story before. And I remember she was selling a condo. I wasn't selling that. I don't even know where it was, but it wasn't around here. And she wanted to live. We were looking at houses in Norwell, and it was on the busy street. What's the street that cut through that, it's not like the main 139. It's the back road that's sort of parallel to
River Street?
I don't know, but you can go right into Hanover on that same
River
street.
Street.
Okay.
That's River.
Right after the school.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So right around the corner, nice little ranch. It was adorable. It had the granite. It had the stainless steel. It was well put together.
South Street. Sorry.
Okay.
South Street. I know.
So, yep. So it was just adorable. And when we were in the driveway, she had no kids at the time, but she had Trot, who was very much like a child. And he's a wiener dog. He's a wiener dog. And I said, you know what? I know you're falling in love with like stainless steel, but like I worry about this road. Like I just don't know. I said, I think that we should continue looking. I just don't think that this is the one that we should be. I said, I feel like you're better off and it's where the market was and where it was going to, that sort of gave me insight to say, let's find a house that is off the beaten path. You know what I mean? Like in a neighborhood that you can see yourself growing, having children, doing all that. And then you can put some sweat equity into it.
Yeah.
And she took my advice and she bought this beautiful house, St. Helen Church.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That street that goes parallel. I think it's Briarwood or something like that, Briarwood. So she bought a nice little ranch. Her parents just happened to be doing their kitchen over, so she got their old cherry cabinets, put it in her house, and when it was time to sell that, she was able to make money.
Yeah.
Because of sweat equity.
Because she put a little time and effort into
Yeah.
it.
So,
Yeah.
I can't believe we only have 4 minutes
We
left.
only have 4 minutes left.
I know. So what other thoughts do you have on this topic, Trey?
Well, I'm thinking I just want to kind of reach out to the young buyers, and I say this all the time. Sometimes you have to go back through your listings again, like something that you passed over because it didn't catch your eye at first. Take your time and go back, because there are deals to be had out there. Buyers need to wake up a little bit and put a little thought and a little bit of effort into going back and looking.
Well, now is the great opportunity for you to see a property multiple times.
Yes. Yeah, you don't
have
have to buy it
in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yeah, you've got
too-
5 minutes to look at this house, and we'd like to accept your offer, and we'd like you to be
In
50
15
grand
minutes.
over ask. Go.
Yeah. And like I say, I can't buy a pair of shoes on Zappos in 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Without sitting on my couch with a glass of wine. But, the other thing, too, is we have a listing, and we have it under agreement as of yesterday, but it was layout. People kept on saying, the layout. And I just think, not every house has an open layout.
They weren't built in.
Yeah.
Houses were not built with an open layout. That's a new concept.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's still relatively new.
Yeah.
Open floor plan.
Open floor plan.
Open
and
floor
I no one wants a single solitary wall. Well, these are things that maybe you could do over time.
You still need a place to put a couch.
Yes.
You still need a place to put a couch.
Yes. And
So,
I remember when we moved into our house in 1992, it was new construction, but it was $137,000. And I remember we were like, all right, in 5 years, we'll put up a garage. We put a garage up 3 years ago. Okay. So 27 years later, we got the garage. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yep.
So, Mel, can you tell everybody how they can find us and all of that great stuff? And we can give Tracy opportunity to give out her contact information.
Yeah. If you want to listen to any of our past shows, you can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com. You can go to your podcast app or Spotify and look up Talk Real Estate Roundtable. You can even look up our names because we're that special. You can go to bostonconnect.com and get all of our contact information, but please give yours.
And you can contact us. We have the Grady team, Tracy and Jim Grady. You can get us at 617-620-8484 or Jim at 617-842-4019. We do have a listing in Scituate that we still have a beautiful house on Hatherley Road, 1 block back from the beach. If you have any interest, give us a call, and you can always reach us through bostonconnect.com.
Yeah, and especially knowing what the market did yesterday, if you are an investor and you are looking for a property for a Airbnb.
Yep,
that
Airbnb, VRBO, either one. This property suits so well to that,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful, beautiful home.
Yeah,
So
it's
if nothing
what, a
else, give
block
us
to
a
the
call. We'd
beach?
love to show it.
Block to the beach?
Block to the beach.
Block to
I
the
can
beach.
see the beach off the side.
I did an open house for you, and I literally walked to the beach afterwards.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
All right. So
beautiful.
again, if you didn't get any of Tracy's information, of course, the Grady team, they are the best of the best full-time agents here at Boston Connect Real Estate. You can find them on our website at bostonconnect.com. You can find us at the office 826-8000, 781-826-8000. Have a great weekend, and you can find us all on bostonconnect.com. Bye. Bye,
Bye,
Tim.
everybody. Bye, Tim.
Bye, everybody.